unit. They're patterned after the 3rd Infantry Division. And Dave Perkins, when he was Colonel Perkins, commander of the 2nd Brigade, led one of the most historic battles in 3ID history. So,
yeah,
the Thunder Run that led his brigade on actually 2 Thunder Runs into Baghdad.
I was about to say, which one? The first one or the second one?
Both.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're going to have General Perkins with us tonight at about 10 minutes after the hour, and then our grand finale of the year at the bottom of the hour, we're going to have Army head football coach Jeff Munkin. And we're really looking forward to that. You know, Coach Munkin is a big favorite with Army fans, and I know he's not just up there playing tiddlywinks in Boston tonight. It's a good effort for him to come out and talk to us, and we appreciate that, and we look forward to that. And
it's a busy week for him.
Busy week.
I mean, it's usually busy, but there's no doubt that this is busier week of Army-Navy.
It's been a busy day for you, too, today, Mike.
It has, but not quite in comparison with the Army head football coach.
No, I think he's been a pretty busy guy. But,
yeah.
But just before we delve into our interviews and our other stuff tonight, it's been a while since we've been on the air, and some good things have happened prior to us coming on to the air tonight. A few weeks ago, which, sidebar, good thing, we've had quite a break and Army football to heal up and get well, and our illustrious co-host Steve Kripke pointed that out. But we got a little bit of time to get well. We've had some time. We hope we're going to get some folks back. But the last time Army took the fields of friendly strife, we played Coastal Carolina, and something happened which the fans, myself, a lot of people have been trying to figure out, and that is the fact that Army went back to the wishbone. Or not the wishbone, they went back to the option offense.
Yeah. And it really felt like an oddity during the offseason when I was reading stuff about this new offense at Army. It really, and I know with the change of rules and the change of blocking strategies, but sometimes you just are who you are, and this is who Army is.
Well, it's certainly who we were against Coastal Carolina. We carried the ball 42 times for 365 yards and only 2 pass attempts, both of which were incomplete, but we didn't need them.
No.
And, Steve, the interesting thing is you mentioned the blocking changes. Well, we didn't have many penalties against Coastal Carolina and didn't have the first blocking penalty on any of our runs. So I don't know if
that's even better.
I don't know if they figured that out or if maybe it wasn't as bad a problem as we thought it was going to be. But as the Riddler would say on Batman, riddle me this, Batman. The big riddle is what offense is going to show up against Navy.
I'm taking a look at the box score from the Coastal Carolina game, and I'm noticing 39 minutes and 51 seconds in time of possession. That's
pretty good. And
that's fantastic.
Well, Steve, that's Army football is 40 minutes time of possession, 300-plus yards rushing, and no turnovers. If we can make that happen, we can play with anybody in the country, as we have proven the past few years with our games against Michigan, and didn't prove it against LSU.
That was earlier this year. LSU's got a pretty good defense. A pretty good offense. They're still working on the defense.
They're still working on the defense, but they hung 62 on us with Jaden Daniels, who more than likely will win the Heisman Trophy Friday night, I think, and
we shall see.
We shall see.
Both Scott Tyson and myself are Heisman Trophy voters, so can't really divulge too much right now, but I think you may be on the right track right there.
Well, I think that's what I've heard, and I know you two guys really take your vote seriously. That's what Paul Feinbaum said also. So, again, though he didn't divulge his vote either. But we're looking to see how that comes out. But bottom line is we had a good win against Coastal Carolina. It really has given us some momentum. We've had a lot of time to heal prior to the Navy game this Saturday. And I think we're on a hot streak. As Coach Monken said in his press conference the other day, we have won 3 in a row. So that's great. And now, folks, without any further ado, I want to go ahead and bring our first guest on is my classmate, four-star general retired, Dave Perkins. Dave, how are you doing tonight?
Very good, Bill. How are you?
Oh, man, I couldn't be better. First of all, I know that your schedule is extremely busy, even though you're rocking chair bound now with most of the retired folks. But that's not true. I know that's not true for a fact, and we appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us and sharing us some of your insights about your time with the 3ID and also Army Navy. So let's start out a little bit with the 3rd Infantry Division uniform. I'm certain you've seen that, haven't you?
Oh yeah. I've seen it and seen the Army's promo on it, and very impressive on how they've done their homework to get a lot of symbolism in there.
Well, they did miss one thing, though. They didn't mention the fact that Bill Crawdad Crawford commanded A Company 2-3 Attack Helicopter Battalion in Giebelstadt, Germany. But I don't know how they could have overlooked that little detail. But tell us what a little bit set the stage for your Thunder Run when you were the 2nd Brigade Commander in the 3rd Infantry Division in 2003.
Well, yeah, Bill, and as they go into it, the division was deployed to Kuwait, and this was, after 9/11 and dealing with all the turmoil that our country had, as well as in that part of the world of Mideast, and the division was ordered to attack across the border and move on to Baghdad. And so eventually my brigade ended south of Baghdad and was given the mission. We had 2 days, 2 missions, one on 5 April and one on 7 April. And the Army promo and the uniform talks about that. The first one was to go into Baghdad International Airport and sort of do a reconnaissance of that route. And so we attacked up there, sort of in the highway that goes from southern Baghdad through the western part of Baghdad into the airport, and sort of secured that line of communication and linked up with 1st Brigade that was there. It was a very tough fight. In fact, on that day, Sergeant First Class Smith, which was with 1st Brigade, earned the Congressional Medal of Honor, and Staff Sergeant Booker and my brigade earned the Distinguished Service Cross, our 2 highest medals of valor. So it gives an insight into what happened that one day. And then the second day, on the 7th, we were given the mission to go into downtown Baghdad, to what is referred to as the regime district, and, facilitate the fall of the Saddam regime. And so we took the entire brigade, 2 tank battalions and 1 infantry battalion, and conducted operation into the center of Baghdad. Very intense urban fighting. I mean, you've seen the consequences of that with the Russian invasion in the Ukraine, and now with what the IDF is dealing with in Gaza. Probably the most difficult fighting you can have in an urban environment. And through the courageous efforts of really hundreds and over 1,000 soldiers, was able to secure the regime district, stay the night, and therefore facilitate the fall of the Saddam regime. So really just a great heroic effort by hundreds of fantastic young American soldiers to accomplish something that in many ways is historically without precedent, both past and current. Baghdad was a city of 6 million people, very heavily armed. From the first Gulf War, they had dealt with no-fly zones, various attacks, so very heavily armed. When the brigade went in, we had about 1,000 soldiers and M1 tanks and Bradleys, and was able to secure downtown Baghdad and facilitate the fall of the regime. And so when you put it in perspective to what the Russians are dealing with, we had 1,000 soldiers take down a city of 6 million. When the Russians invaded Kyiv, that's a city of 3 million, they had 150,000 soldiers, and they took over 20,000 casualties and were unable to complete the mission. So it puts in perspective what those young Americans were able to do.
Well, you forgot to mention one thing. They were dog-faced soldiers from the 3rd ID, so they eat raw meat for breakfast every day. Uh, Let me ask you this: how, just a classmate to classmate, I
Yeah.
have a great sense of pride when I look at the videos and the promos and see my classmate prominently mentioned there. What kind of emotions does that stir in you? It's gotta make you feel pretty proud, I would think.
Well, anytime I get associated with the 2nd Brigade and the 3rd Infantry Division, and as you said, those great dog-faced soldiers, that's that is a source of pride in itself, just being part of that team. And since the Army has released its promotion for the uniform and how they're honoring the 3rd Infantry Division, I've had a lot of soldiers that were in the brigade contact me, and in fact, I was just in D.C. the last couple of days at an Army conference talking to them about professionalism, and there were 3rd Infantry Division, 2nd Brigade veterans in there too. They came up to me, and they're very humble, as almost all dog-faced soldiers are. They're very proud of being associated with it, and they're really, really quite pleased that the Army has taken this moment in time. The Army-Navy game, obviously America's game, is a big event, and the fact that their service is being recognized and memorialized is probably one of the highest honors they could have.
Well, let me ask you this, just for our listeners. Not everyone has a military background the millions who tune into this radio show. Tell everybody a bit about post-Iraq and the final rank you attained, which is 4-star general. And what were you doing in your final assignment?
So continued to serve our Army and serve with our great soldiers, and eventually, through the efforts of my great subordinates, was able to rise to the rank of 4-star general. And so I commanded the United States Army Training and Doctrine Command. And what they do is they run all the institutional training in our Army, everywhere from basic training, Command General Staff College, training Apache pilots, training infantrymen, armor, artillerymen, et cetera, like that, which is a great responsibility because you're really building the future Army. And then we also write all the doctrine for the Army, how we conduct all of our operations, what the future needs to look like for the Army, and then we set all the requirements for the future requirements for organizations. And so you're heavily engaged with the here and now, which is training the Army we have today, but you're also equally involved in building the Army of the future. So it was a great way to end up my career.
Well, and again, we're mighty proud of what you did, and but let's take our soldier hats off for a second, and let's put our Army-Navy fan hat on. What does the Army-Navy game mean to you personally?
Well, like I said, really America's game. You and I went to our first one probably in 1976 together in November at Veterans Stadium. And that was the first Army-Navy game I've been to many since then. And there's a couple of things that really have struck me about it, struck me then and continue to this day to, really impact me. One is the emotion that goes into it. I don't have all the stats in front of me, but it seems like going into this game, the record of the teams is mildly interesting because the emotions are at such a high level that we've had plenty of upsets. So you never would know which way it's going to go. The esprit de corps, both on the Army and the Navy side, really peak. This is the game of the year for each of the academies. But one of the other things that I always is a huge source of pride for me as far as what our military represents and the best of our nation, both from a values point of view as well as the young men and women that are in it, is that at the end of the game, regardless of however it comes out, both teams go to the end zone and basically figuratively and literally salute the other team and stand for their alma mater. And I just think that that's a great example to set for our country about sportsmanship, about mutual respect, in about really, as they say, what the fields of friendly strife mean to our young men and women.
Well, let me ask you this, Dave. Do you have a particular Army, Navy memory that stands out to you throughout your long career? And I don't think we could probably tell some of the memories about when we were cadets, but
yeah, we won't talk about the Ben Franklin Hotel. Huh?
No, we'll let that go. We hanging people outside the window by their feet and things of that nature. But but any particular memory that stands out to you?
Well, there's a couple, in the genre of the memories that resonate most with me are memories where I was, I wasn't home, I wasn't in the game, but I was deployed somewhere around the world. But the Army-Navy game was always a must-see and or must-listen to, depending upon where it is. And so I remember one time my battalion was deployed into the Balkans, and we were in Kosovo, and we were working the Macedonian-Serbian issue, and the game was on Armed Forces Network. And my division commander was the previous commandant at West Point, and I remember we had to have the game on. It was, old TVs through Armed Forces Network, and there we were in the middle of the Balkans on the Kosovo-Serbian border watching Army-Navy game. Probably one of my best memories is I went to the Navy War College. I guess I was the Army exchange student, the Navy War College in Newport, Rhode Island. Great school. And the Army-Navy game was there. We were living in Navy housing, pretty much like Army housing, kind of communal housing. And we all gathered in it was like a community center, and we all rolled over our TVs. So these are the old-fashioned, vacuum tube, big TVs. We rolled them over on carts, rolled over our barbecue grills, had our, own little tailgate there on the Navy base. And thankfully that year, and I was sort of probably the lone Army guy there, Army won. So it was a way for me to sort of maintain my bragging rights. But those are the kind of memories that resonate most with me in that I was deployed to places around the world. I did it in Iraq. I've seen it in the Balkans, in Europe, that we were in a place where it was not going to be easy to watch the Army-Navy game. But, we got our Signal Corps people involved and everything like that, and we were able to hook into Armed Forces Network or whatever it is, rig together some type of TV and watch the Army-Navy game, because it was always that, kind of foundational thing that you did in the fall.
And, that's one thing I think people don't realize is how much that game means to our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who aren't able to be at home or be at a sports bar or whatever. Steve, do you have a question for
Well,
Dave?
I do. Steve Moulton here. It's an honor to talk to you, sir. And I wanted to go a little bit where Bill went, but since he went there, I'd like to go back to Baghdad, because for those of us that have never been there in that area, you mentioned about 6 million there in downtown Baghdad. I'm wondering, terrain-wise, is there anywhere that's comparable in the continental United States that is roughly kind of a Baghdad-ish type of area that we have over here, terrain-wise?
Yeah, so it's you've got the Tigris and Euphrates rivers that kind of frame Baghdad, so you have these obstacles you have to cross. It's desert on the outside, and so Baghdad is pretty flat, but it's a very rambling urban area. Some tall buildings, not too many. So I'm trying to think of a city that just goes on and on and on forever, very densely populated, that, a city of 6 million,
Yeah.
We don't even have that many cities in the U.S. that are that big.
Maybe Houston?
Yeah, it's probably something like that. That's probably a good analogy, something like a Houston in its outlying suburbs, very flat but very densely populated, and just buildings after buildings after buildings. Some tall buildings, but not a lot.
That's a gigantic task. I can't wrap my head around that. I really can't.
I can't either. Well, Dave, are you going to be able to watch the game in person this year, given your tie to the jersey? Are they going to do anything and mention you any time during the game?
Well, so I will be there in person. So this year, I live in New Hampshire, and so this year it's in Foxborough, Mass, Gillette Stadium, where the Patriots play. So it's the closest it's ever been to me. So I will be there in person watching the game. I will tell you that the OPSEC, operational security of this, has been very high because I knew nothing about this uniform or the representation they were going to have until it was released, until everybody else saw it. In fact, it was another one of my classmates that had to send me the link. And they said, hey, Dave, do you see what's going on, et cetera. So I turned it on. I said, holy cow, I didn't know anything about it. And to that point, 2 weeks ago, I was at West Point. I work up there with the cadets and the faculty on leadership. And I was at a dinner, and I was sitting at the table with the superintendent and the athletic director. Literally, the athletic director was right next to me. And so we were talking about football, of course, and I was congratulating him on the win against Air Force. And he asked if I was going to be at the Army-Navy game. I said, yes, I'll be there. He said, I'll look forward to seeing you, et cetera. He had the biggest poker face, never even let on of what was going to happen. And the superintendent was right next to him. So yesterday I was at a conference in D.C., and General Gillian, the superintendent, was there. So I came up to him. I said, wow, you guys had great operational security because, I was there 2 weeks ago, and you didn't even let on what it was. And he kind of looked at me and goes, yeah, we probably should have told you. So I'm just going to the game like any other interested football fan. I just bought my tickets to the Army Athletic Association months ago before I knew this was happening. And so, I'm not sure what's going to happen other than hopefully we'll beat Navy.
Well, hopefully Army can score more than the Patriots have here lately, although I know they just scored a touchdown against the Steelers tonight. So good start for the Patriots so far here tonight.
Well, and Dave,
hopefully some good karma.
my suspicion is, knowing the ODIA, and I work with them a good bit on this show, I suspect we'll see you on the sidelines with a microphone underneath your mouth there real quick. But, hey, we appreciate your time, and we're going to have to take a break here in a minute. I've kept you a little longer than we have intended, but give us a score.
Oh, my prediction?
Yes.
I'll say 21-14, Army.
Hey, I like that, and I think it's traditionally a low-scoring game. We're in good shape. Navy's kind of banged up, so I think we'll be okay. And I couldn't let you go without saying pride and excellence.
Yeah, pride and excellence, Bill. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for sort of keeping the morale high for Army sports.
All right, hey, appreciate it. And Brian, let's go ahead and take our break. And we'll be back in a bit. That was Dave Perkins, 4-star General Dave Perkins, interviewed by Major Crawford. Great disparity in rank, but hey, he's my classmate. He's a friend. Take care. This is Crawdad, back in a few.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
Buongiorno, Tom Chapman from Nick's Ristorante here with Chef Joey Kindred. Say hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey.
Seriously? So what's so great about being chef at Nick's?
Serving award-winning 21-day aged certified Angus beef, fresh seafood, and third-generation Italian family recipes.
That and an awesome owner, right?
So, if I say yes, do I get a raise?
No. What else should people know about Nick?
We showcase local musicians and have a cigar-friendly bar and bistro.
Time to put you on the spot, Chef. What's the phone number?
256-489-8280.
What's the website?
nicksrestaurante.com.
And what are the hours?
Doors open at 5 o'clock, Tuesday through Saturday. Dining room closes at 9. Bar closes depending on volume.
Molto bene, Chef. It's time to say goodbye, Joey.
Goodbye, Joey.
Come on, man.
Okay, how's this? Ciao e buon appetito.
Nice. Horrible accent, but nice. So again, please come see us at Nick's. Can't wait to see you there.
Nick's is for patrons 19 or older. Rambo Marine in Hazel Green is your one-stop shop for all things boating. Whether you are ready to surf with the newest Malibu wake boat or cruise on a Cobalt or Barletta pontoon, we have a boat ready for you and your family. Rambo Marine provides exceptional service second to none, so that you are ready to hit the water in no time. Stop by Rambo Marine today. We know boats.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case.
And we'll take care of it.
The Lackey Law Firm. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Seems our little town isn't so little anymore. It seems like every time you go somewhere, you see a new neighborhood or business. That's exactly why the Huntsville-Madison County Builders Association is proud to be selected as the host site for the OSHA Training Institute Education Center. Employees, employers, and supervisors, public and private, can train with the experts. Keep training, keep certified, keep safe. To sign up for classes, visit hmcba.org. That's hmcba.org.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 50s. Looks like we're going to make a solid run at 60 degrees. A little warmer as we head into the overnight. You're also going to notice more cloud cover across the area as we head into the earliest hours of Friday morning. Temperatures only dropping into the upper 30s and lower 40s. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky for your Friday afternoon. Temperatures hanging out in the lower 60s. We are going to stay dry on Friday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Listen to the Bama Recap Show each Sunday morning at 11, presented by Freedom Marine Center on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and this is Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. And now, without any further ado, we have Army head coach Jeff Monken. Coach, are you with us? Coach Monken, are you there?
Crawdad, I'm here. Glad to be on with you.
Well, appreciate your patience through the commercials. You know, if you need a good steak dinner at Nick's or need your roof fixed, we can hook you up.
I got a boat lined up already. I'm ready to go.
Well, hey, I know you're extremely busy tonight, and we appreciate you taking a little bit of time to be with us. So, right off the bat, what's the morale and the status of the team like? I know you've had a couple of weeks to get everybody fired up and motivated, and they're up in Boston. Tell me what the morale is like right now.
In this game, it is sky high, and it is every time that we play this game. There's no game like it, and so our guys are fired up, excited to be here in Boston, kind of positioned and ready to go for the game on Saturday.
Well, I would expect nothing less, and one of the things I was wondering about the game in particular this year, it's been kind of an up and down year. We've had a lot of highs, we had a couple of lows, but I think one of the key aspects to Army football has been your 30-plus seniors on the team. How has their leadership contributed to where you're at right now?
It's the only reason we've had a chance to win some games down the stretch. Those guys have been resilient and tough, and just really proud of that group. And as you said, we've had some disappointing losses. And in fact, some embarrassing losses, some teams that we kind of ran out of the stadium a year ago. We just couldn't score points, and it's nobody's fault but ours. And but our players have continued to practice and to work and to invest, and really it's on the backs of those seniors that you mentioned.
Coach, I wanted to ask a question or two. Steve Moulton here with you. It's an honor to talk to you, Coach. And there's a lot of us in our business that talk about most improved and want to label that. But I'm more curious about consistent players, of guys that you know what you're going to get out of those guys, dudes, in other words. Tell me about those guys that you know what you're going to get from game to game, in your opinion, Coach.
I think that's what a senior does. There's so many of those guys on our team that I think have had careers like that and have played this season like that. And think about a guy like Austin Hill and just how hard he works. I mean, we're in our last week of the season. He's in his last practices of his career, and he stays out after practice every day and works fundamentals. Leo Lowen, he works fundamentals or he works extra conditioning every day after practice. And those guys are just solid as they can be. The year that Jabari Moore has had at corner, he's played a lot of games. In fact, he's played in more football games than any Army football player in history. And he just very consistent with his performance. We got a bunch of guys like that. Tyson Riley, Jacoby Buchanan, guys that have been in our program and played a lot of football for us. The seniors up front on the offensive line, Shane Buckingham, Connor Finucane, Jackson Filipowicz, all guys that Josh Lingenfelter at tight end, Quindraylon Hammonds, who's a safety. I mean, there's a guy just consistently plays tough, plays hard, reliable. You can count on him. Nate Smith, Darius Richardson, so many of those guys, and then guys like Quinn Moretsky and Cole Talley, the two kickers. I mean, you don't get better than those two guys. Just their consistency and how hard they've worked and improved, and so I'm really proud of that group. And to have a season like we've had with some disappointments and frankly, we played some really good football teams. We had a stretch there where we played UTSA, who had won Conference USA 2 years in a row, and heck, they darn near were playing for the conference championship in their first year in the American. We played Syracuse, Boston College, Troy, who's won 23 games in 2 years, and this season's not even over yet. They got a great football team, back-to-back Sun Belt champs, and LSU. I mean, that's a heck of a 5-game stretch. And it's no excuse. Yeah. We got to win. But our guys battled through that, and they continued to fight. And we were frustrated. Our kids got frustrated. I got frustrated. Our staff did, but they've continued to fight and to prepare and to practice, and have had a great attitude and given great effort. And it's why we've been able to win the last 3 and got ourselves positioned here to hopefully finish it out with one more win.
Hey, Coach, a quick question. I know the last 2 games, and this is not going to come as a surprise to you, but our special teams have really factored hugely into the wins. So what has been the secret sauce that's really made the special teams catch on fire the last couple of games? Is it that highly motivated and energetic Coach Saturnio, or what's going on with that?
Coach Saturnio makes such a difference for our football team, and he's everybody's favorite coach. He's my favorite coach. He's every player's favorite coach. He's got such a great spirit for this team, and our guys really just are motivated and inspired and fired up to play for him. He does a really good job with the schemes, but we work really hard at the special teams. And over the course of the last 2 years, we've been in the top 5 in the country for block kicks. So we weren't getting some of those early on, but we were coming close, and we got a couple in the last 2 games, and they've certainly made a difference in us winning the football games. But we work tirelessly on those fundamentals. I mean, it's every week, every day we work the fundamentals of the kicking game, and just like we do the offense and defensive phases, because it's an area of the game where we can level the playing field a little bit. We can be really good on special teams and have that make a difference for us.
And it has, Coach. And now I'm going to speak as the voice of the typical Army fan, and I'm one, and I hear a lot about this from the guys as we get together and watch the games. And my question is this: obviously the offensive philosophy shifted a little bit prior to Coastal Carolina. We didn't go back to an option total offense, but we did feature under center fullback dives. What was the genesis for that change in philosophy for that game?
Well, obviously, we've had our struggles on offense this year, and that it's been frustrating for us. Certainly, the blocking rules we felt were going to be a little prohibitive in terms of us running the offense that we had been running and running it as efficiently. I mean, there was a time there where we were as efficient on offense as anybody in the country, but we relied a lot on blocking below the waist. And a year ago in 2022, we lost some close games, but we had our frustrations on offense there too. We Troy game we scored 9 points, and we just scored 7 against Air Force, and just not putting enough points on the board to win football games. So I felt like we needed to do something different, and I was really excited about Coach Thatcher coming in and really the scheme that we've got, but it hasn't produced the results that I hoped it would. And we had discussed being under center and doing some of that. It's hard to do both. It's hard to master both. But in this last game, I just felt like we needed to do something different. And obviously we've got a lot of familiarity and coaches on our staff that have experience with the under center option. And for our older guys, it's like riding a bike. We just said, hey, here's how we're going to approach this game. We didn't have the intention of staying under center the whole game. We really thought that Coastal Carolina would make some adjustments and start to defend us. But as it turned out, they kind of settled into one front. They obviously weren't prepared for it, so we caught them off guard, and it just worked. And we stayed with it the whole game, and was really proud of our team. And it was good enough to win the game.
Well, Coach, as we say down here in Alabama, I'd have to say this: you guys flat-ass out-coached them. So good job. And I know I'm going to ask you a question that I know you're not going to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway on behalf of the fan base. Can you give us any inkling of the offense against Navy? Are we going to have a hybrid offense? Are you going to say, shut your mouth, Crawford? That's none of your business.
We'll have 11 guys out there on offense. How's that?
Hey, that I wouldn't have expected anything less. So, and Coach, we really appreciate your time, and we know you're busy, and we're going to have to let you go in a minute. I know you can't give a prediction, but two final questions. One, we've had a lot of time to rest and heal. Are we going into Navy as probably healthier than we've ever been?
We are. It's one of the frustrations for me this year has been we have remained fairly healthy. We're healthier up front on the offensive line than we have ever been in the 10 years I've been the coach here. We've had some guys nicked up and dinged up and some injuries that we've had to deal with, but our overall health, we've remained healthier this year than we ever have, and I think that's a byproduct of our offense. Being under center and being on the ground so much and cut blocking and just the way we trained our offensive linemen, it took its toll on our guys, and not just getting hurt in games, but getting hurt in practice. And we've remained healthier, which I had hoped would translate into more victories, but unfortunately it didn't. But it's a model. I think it's taught us that we can practice a little bit differently and keep our team healthier. And certainly, you got starters for a reason, and you want them to be healthy and play in the game. So I feel good about where we're at going into the game on Saturday in terms of our health.
Well, hey, I do too. And my last question is, when do you think we'll see the schedule next year for the AAC? Is that going to come out pretty soon after Army-Navy?
So they'll announce the opponents here pretty soon. We'll know who we're playing. It probably won't be until February that we know what weekends we're playing those games. So it's a little bit of a challenge, obviously, with making plans and that with the schedule. But that's kind of what you get when you're in a conference. You're kind of at the mercy of their schedule and when they decide to let those out. So we'll like I said, we'll know the 8 teams in the league that we're playing. We're just not sure what weekends yet, and that'll come in a couple of months.
All right, Coach. Well, hey, that's a good answer. And just so you know, we got about 6,000 people on Facebook who follow this show, and they're probably going to get a chance to see you and hear this interview, and we wish you the best. And I can tell you this, I speak for all the fans, I think, when we hope that you and your family and your little dachshund are up in I got one too, by the way. Hope y'all are up at West Point for many, many years.
Well, I hope so, too, and I appreciate the time tonight, guys. Let's have a great game on Saturday.
All right, go Army. Beat Navy.
Beat Navy.
All right, Brian, let's take a break, and we'll get out of here and come back for our final segment.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Buongiorno. Tom Chapman from Nick's Ristorante here with Chef Joey Kindred. Say hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey.
Seriously? So what's so great about being chef at Nick's?
Serving award-winning 21-day aged certified Angus beef, fresh seafood, and third-generation Italian family recipes.
That and an awesome owner, right?
So, if I say yes, do I get a raise?
No. What else should people know about Nick?
We showcase local musicians and have a cigar-friendly bar and bistro.
Time to put you on the spot, Chef. What's the phone number?
256-489-8280.
What's the website?
NicksRestaurante.com.
And what are the hours?
Doors open at 5 o'clock, Tuesday through Saturday. Dining room closes at 9. Bar closes depending on volume.
Molto bene, Chef. It's time to say goodbye, Joey.
Goodbye, Joey.
Come on, man.
Okay, how's this? Ciao e buon appetito.
Nice. Horrible accent, but nice. So again, please come see us at Nick's. Can't wait to see you there.
Nick's is for patrons 19 or older.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Installation, now he represents Eagle companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do after paint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com for more information.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dorton Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 50s. Looks like we're going to make a solid run at 60 degrees. A little warmer as we head into the overnight. You're also going to notice more cloud cover across the area as we head into the earliest hours of Friday morning. Temperatures only dropping into the upper 30s and lower 40s. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky for your Friday afternoon. Temperatures hanging out in the lower 60s. We are going to stay dry on Friday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dorton Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, this is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Join us every week for Alabama football right here.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford along with Steve Moulton, the Sportscaster of the Year in Alabama for 500 times or something like that. 6, actually.
Six.
Appreciate Steve being able to join with me tonight. We were unable to get Steve and Colonel Tom in here, but
there is no Ouija board around here.
No, there is no human Ouija board. There is no Colonel Tom. But,
I know he's somewhere on a motorcycle. Is he up there in Fayetteville with the new offensive coordinator for the Hogs?
I don't know. I don't know, but he like the offensive coordinator has been known to crack that cycle up every now and then. But, But hey, before we get our little bit of analysis we have left on Army-Navy, a big shout out to our sponsors this year, our main sponsors, Brian Hammaker and the North Alabama Mortgage folks. I know you hear their commercials throughout the day on this station, and they can really hook you up with anything you need for a mortgage. And as Brian told me, don't let the rates scare you off right now. There's still a lot you can do with the equity in your home. The other one I'd like to mention is Nick's Ristorante. It's as I say, it's a driver and a pitching wedge south. For West neighbors, maybe it's a driver, but a driver and a pitching wedge south of the intersection of Bailey Cove and Weatherly. Now is the time to make your New Year's reservations. That place fills up fast on New Year's weekend. December 30th is the big day, and also a big shout out to Joe Ross and Higher Echelon. Joe's up at the Army-Navy game right now. So, and also just real quick, if you want a $50 gift certificate to Nick's, just call 256-576-4977. Give your name to Brian, and we'll take care of that. That's all you got to do. Well, Steve, it's the 124th edition of the Army-Navy game.
Yes, it is.
So does that game have any special significance to you? Did you watch it as a kid growing up?
I did, but my dad served in the Army back in World War II and in Korea. So it did place, he would go out of his way to watch it, and so it was prominently in my household each and every year, and he was always rooting for Army year in and year out. So, but yes, to answer your question, but with the fact that the Commanders-in-Chief trophy is in play.
On the line.
It is. Does it make it a bigger deal, you think, for the kids with the trophy on the line?
I would like to think it doesn't, but it's got to. Anytime something like that's up for grabs, you've got to think about it. I mean, you win it, you get the bragging rights, you beat Navy, and you go to the White House.
Go to the White House.
Yeah. So, well, hey, just some of the stuff to break down the game a little bit. Steve Kripke couldn't be with us tonight, the old human Ouija board, but he did do some pretty good analytics on the game. And one of the points he brought out that I didn't think about till he did is, Navy didn't have 3 weeks off. They had they had to play SMU, and they got shellacked.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Shellacked.
Yeah, they got taken to the outhouse.
59-14. They had a lot of players who were helped off the field. And as I just mentioned to the coach, we've had a lot of time to heal up, and I think that might be a factor in the game. We don't know who's going to play quarterback for Navy. They do have a plebe or a freshman named Woodson who is supposedly pretty fast, and we've had issues with Navy running quarterbacks in the past. A couple of guys named Keenan Reynolds and Malcolm Perry as an example. So hopefully that won't come into play. And also Isaiah Alston, our number one receiver, who's really, really good. He's been out for a while, and I think he might be healed up for this game. And we're pretty even, pretty much statistically everywhere.
Oh yeah, up and down. I mean, you take a look at it statistically. I was taking a look at the game notes from Army, I believe it was, and I mean, yeah, up and down. Statistically, it is as even as you can possibly get with this matchup, where Army is averaging a little over 20 points a game, Navy's averaging 18 points a game, and then rushing per game, Army is rushing 208 yards a game, Navy 200 a game. So it really, I know it's a line of scrimmage game without a doubt, but it feels like it's going to be that way yet again on Saturday.
Well, I think it is, and even if you look at passing yards, we have more passing yards per game than
by
Navy.
8, but by 8.
By 8, and then
that's
again,
almost a first down.
That's almost a first down. But when we do our best, just like against Coastal Carolina, we had 0 passing yards. We are a running team, and I know Coach didn't let the cat out of the bag, but he did.
What do you want to set the over/under at passes for Saturday for Army?
I think Army's gonna do a little bit of throwing.
Do you really?
I do. I think we're gonna throw over and under. I'm gonna set it 10, and I'm gonna say we're gonna go over 10 passes. But
give me the under on that right there. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna pass a little bit. I know Coach said we can't really mix the two offensive up, but I think there's going to be a lot of surprises in there. I think we're going to see Coach Thatcher back calling some plays, as well as Coach Worley, who called the plays under center. So let me ask you this, Steve. We're the worst enemy of sports talk radio is the clock, and it's sneaking up on us.
Yeah, it is.
Tell me what you think's going to happen Saturday.
Well, I went into this, but when you told me you needed some help, I went in and watched a little bit of tape, and you're right, especially for that last game against Coastal Carolina, it looked like the old Army team.
Right.
And that made me think we're going to see the old Army team again on Saturday. I like Army to pull off the victory. I'll go 28-21. Just like the Coastal Carolina score.
Ooh, I like that. I know I'm going low. I'm saying that it's traditionally a low-scoring game. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I'm saying 20-10. Our field goal kicker's pretty good. I think we have 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. But like every Army-Navy game, I won't draw an easy breath until we sing the alma mater second. So,
but the thing you can never plan for is turnovers and penalties, and that always plays a huge factor in every football game.
It does, and if we don't have any turnovers and we have limited penalties and we don't have a lot of injuries,
don't be yourself.
We're going to win. So, folks, thank you for year 13 of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff.
13.
Year 13, man. We've been here for a while.
I must be sneaking up on year 14 for me then. I've got you, missed it by this much. This much.
And, folks, as we always say, again, thanks to our sponsors, thanks to our listeners, thanks to our Facebook page, thanks to Steve Cripey for putting the Facebook page together and maintaining it. And, folks, remember this, no matter where you are and no matter what you're doing over this holiday season, as I always like to say, just like Dave Perkins alluded to, there is a soldier, sailor, or an airman or Marine standing a watch somewhere so you can enjoy the life that you do today. And, keep your prayers and thoughts with our deployed soldiers over the holidays, because not everybody gets to sit under the Christmas tree and open Christmas presents.
Yeah, we heard from the retired colonel in Perkins on how important this game is to the men and women overseas.
And think about them as you watch. Don't think about the squids floating around on the boats. Think about the soldiers who are in harm's way. And again, it's been a great run, 13 years. We hope to be back next year. And Steve, you got to say this with me. Go Army.
Beat Navy.
All right, folks, I'm out. Take
If you're the kind of value shopper who waits to the end of the year because you know that's when the deals are the best, it's here. And there's no first payment for 90 days.